डिजाइन बना रही है, राइट? अब आपको पता है कि ये डिजाइन अनएथिकल है, डार्क पैटर्न है, बट आपको इसका डिजाइन प्रोड्यूस करना है.
But you are helpless now because you don't own the authority.
डिजाइन प्रोमिसेस की क्राफ्ट है, आर्ट है, पीपल वुड लाइक इट, कल्चर बनाएंगे. आई डोंट हैव टाइम फॉर कल्चर. कैफे बनाओ, 4 दीवारें लगाओ, रगेड लुक दो, ऐसा कूल सा बनाओ और मल्टीप्लाई करना शुरू करो मनी, बिकॉज आई नीड 2 years का एग्जिट.
मेरा थोड़ा सा इसमें कॉन्ट्रेरियन टेक है. I mean, apart from the United States part of it, Indians generally are a very trusting society. हम लोग बहुत आसानी से ट्रस्ट करते हैं. हम लोग बहुत इमोशनल हैं, ठीक है, एक दूसरे पे बहुत आराम से ट्रस्ट करते हैं, इसलिए धोखे भी बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं. डिजिटल अरेस्ट भी, डिजिटल स्कैम भी बहुत हो रहे हैं अपने यहाँ, क्योंकि हम आराम से ट्रस्ट कर लेते हैं लोगों की कॉल्स पे, लोगों की बातों पे. बट द थिंग इज, मैं अभी की बात कर रहा हूँ कि वाई इज इट डिफिकल्ट टू बी एन एंटरप्रेन्योर इन AI एज. क्योंकि एक प्रॉम्प्ट से आपका प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है, 1 या 5 या 10 आइटरेटिव प्रॉम्प्ट से आपका प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है, ठीक है. आज मैं कंपनी बनाता हूँ, कल को सामने वाला भी बना लेगा, क्योंकि बेस LLM तो सेम ही है. अल्टीमेटली उसने मेरा प्रोडक्ट कॉपी करना है, फीचर कॉपी करना है, मैं भी बना लूंगा. तो उसको कितना टाइम लगेगा. और IP के ऊपर किसी को ज़्यादा ट्रस्ट है नहीं. इंडिया में IP के ऊपर इतना फोकस है नहीं. इंडिया, चाइना या एशिया इन जनरल में बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस नहीं होता, क्योंकि हम एक दूसरे से मोटिवेशन लेके, इंस्पिरेशन लेके बहुत चीज़ एक दूसरे से कॉपी करते हैं, ठीक है. इवन सी आवर फूड डिलीवरी स्टार्टअप्स, दे आर ऑल्सो लुकिंग सिमिलर ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द टाइम, ठीक है. दे रिलीज फीचर्स ऑलमोस्ट नेक्स्ट टू ईच अदर, ठीक है. तो उसकी वजह से क्या है कि AI की वजह से चीज़ें बहुत शॉर्टन हो गई हैं. प्रॉम्प्ट की वजह से फटाफट प्रोडक्ट बन रहे हैं. एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन बहुत आसान हो गया है. मैं जो बनाऊँ वो सामने वाले 10 और लोग बनाने को तैयार हैं. तो मैं इतना टाइम, पैसा क्यों खर्च करूँ वो रिस्क लेने में, जब उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं होने वाली या उसका कोई आउटकम नहीं होने वाला.
I'll tell you, I used to believe that because designers live so close to product, where they're designing the nuances of product every single day, designers would have this passion of being able to solve the same problems on their own much better than the organization that they're working on. And I used to believe that our head of designs should have this confidence that if there is any constraint on me because of my organization, if I was to do my own thing, I would not have these constraints, and I would produce a much better, well-designed product and put it into the world. But I get it, like risk averseness, and maybe I think the same thing के PMs and designers में gap भी क्यों है, क्योंकि metrics and business side के बारे में हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं. We were actually so attached to the craft कि हमें वही करने में मजा आता रहा. तो हमने शायद कभी भी आउट ऑफ द रोल वो अथॉरिटी एंड वो चैलेंज ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप लेने की सोची ही नहीं, राइट? बिकॉज वी वर सो अटैच्ड टू द क्राफ्ट rather than the outcome that the craft could have produced.
Yeah, because I feel the same thing. Like the designers who has become entrepreneur, they did not do the same thing just because of design mindset. They were able to do this because they had this entrepreneurial mindset in them. That's what they could do this whatever they wanted to do. Only having a design skill, maybe no. We keep calling ourselves problem solvers. Have we ever called us like we are the one problem finders as well? We don't do. We solve the problem that somebody has found.
Yeah.
A PM find a problem, a business finds a problem, gives to us, and we figure it out the solution. When we will be able to figure out the problem or find the problem, then maybe find the problem more of find the opportunity. Then we'll be able to do this better. And this is not just the DNS mindset. This is more of a entrepreneurial mindset.
I like it. I'll quote it somewhere. Yeah. Designers should also be looking at going from problem solvers to problem finders, and that would give them more, not just autonomy, but also a new sense of looking at the world. Yeah. You don't have to wait for a problem to be described.
This is also the case study ideas for students. Find a problem and then solve it.
Yeah.
Rather than...
Also, with the help of, with the AI part, I feel like, we say others can do, but I feel like because of AI, I already have a co-founder with me. Which is
the AI
right now.
That's a product idea there.
Yeah.
AI co-founders.
AI could be one of the co-founder I already have, and I can start. Although the risk is that somebody can copy, somebody can do. That was there from day one. I mean, someone who does not want to do or someone who does not have guts to do, they will figure out some reason, and that's what we are doing. I'm also in the same boat. I'm not also the one who has figured out the idea. I also have the excuse why I have not started something, because I have my own excuses, same thing. But I think sometimes AI has kind of given us more guts. I can quickly check something without anyone's helps and then go forward. Maybe I can do my MVP real quick without anyone's help, and then you can move forward. So AI has given wings for sure. It's just our excuse are winning.
So I think
Interesting.
I'll take what you said and agree that there should be more design founders because of the simple fact that we care about the things that we pick up. At the end of the day, अगर डिजाइन की मैं एकदम बिल्कुल baseline definition boil down करूं, it is someone gave a damn. Someone cared about something enough to think through ये क्या क्या होगा, क्या चीजें हैं, क्या करनी है. An organization is not just the output, the product that comes out. In a sense, it's called a company because you're in a company of people. There are people with you. As a designer, we keep talking about culture. इतना अच्छा design team का है compared to other teams and all happens because the leaders care about what is happening in the designer's life. What are they thinking about? What are they going through? Having more design founders will lead to better companies where people are happier.
That's
and
so
at
true.
the end of the day, you are making better things. That is a very important thing. And I think it's time for a lot of design leaders to step up and say, yes, let's go ahead and do this.
Varun, Vansh, we are founder. हम founder
बस.
बनेंगे. We are हम product भी launch करेंगे अभी. Yes. Vansh has a product ready. आपको पता है? He has a product ready.
What is that?
Yeah, ये हम stealth mode में अभी हम नहीं बताएंगे.
Okay. I thought
But
we both are
he
already
showed me the
founders.
demo today.
Oh,
आज सुबह
awesome.
मुझे आकर के उसने दिखाया demo.
Nice.
You want co-founders?
Design co-founders. Let's say अपूर्व से मेरा ये question है कि do you think we would be able to produce, design teams would be able to produce better output if they were given complete autonomy over the product?
No. See, everything is a cause and effect, right? What do you mean by better product, first of all, right? Is it solving a problem? Problem can be two ways. Is it solving a user's problem or is it solving investor's problem, right?
Yeah.
Now, with AI, and one thing I just want to add, because we were talking about AI has made thing very generic and templatized, right? And because of which the feeling of using any product will start to lack, right? Because and same example, like come back to Microsoft and Apple. If today, let's say Apple didn't exist, all the tech companies would had created another Windows, right? Nobody had thought of Apple because somebody used their human brain to think different. That's the tagline also, by the way, right? They were able to create, right? So designers today, if they are starting their baseline with, I'll start thinking along with AI. Your ideas will go in loops round and round, and same ideas. You will also create the same. You were in Zepto. You were also creating the same app. We were also creating the same app, right? If I have to tell somebody, create a different quick commerce app, nobody will be able to do that because thinking ability is gone. Cognitive thinking, cognitive problem solving is slightly, going. And the way we are moving towards more and more AI, we are pushing people to do this, right? The new generation, the new college grad that will come into the system, they will be super cool in, using all the AI stuff, using agents, but their own cognitive ability will take a toss with this. And then 5 years down the line, people will realize, oh, real thinking वाले लोग तो है ही नहीं यार मार्केट में. सब ये वाले रियल थिंकिंग वाला लोग कहाँ से आएंगे? जब वो ग्रेजुएट हो रहे थे, उसके बाद तुमने उनको पूरा 5 साल तक डम बनाया. उसके बाद नाउ यू एक्सपेक्ट कि अभी मेरे को कोई एकदम डिफरेंट थिंकिंग वाला आदमी कहाँ से मिलेगा? So that is one thing. What was your question again?
My question was, if designers were given, like design teams were given more autonomy, will we be able to produce more well-designed products? And the context here is that because we have a lot of product intervention or PM intervention, we end up designing products that have heavy influence of growth centric features into them. बहुत कुछ हम growth के लिए कर रहे होते हैं, rather than products that have an elegant light experience that you can get in and get out easily.
बट उसका भी रीजन है ना, राइट? ग्रोथ के लिए क्यों कर रहे हैं? दैट इज द रीजन. अगर मैं नहीं करूंगा ग्रोथ के लिए तो कल वो बंद हो जाएगा प्रोडक्ट. व्हाट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ क्रिएटिंग अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल प्रोडक्ट व्हिच कैन नॉट सर्वाइव 2 months?
Correct.
right?
Autonomy के साथ responsibility देनी है.
Exactly. So ये constraint है. I think हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा ऐसे सोचते हैं कि हमको चांस दे दिया जाए तो हम फोड़ देंगे,
बिल्कुल.
PM भी सोचेगा, सब लोग सोचते हैं, right?
Yeah.
But the real thing is that everybody has to work with constraint, right? अगर तुम आज अंबानी के बेटे होते तो तुम ये नहीं कर रहे होते, but you are working with a constraint, you are building whatever you can build, right?
Correct.
So यही सबके साथ काम करता है, and that's why designers should work with those constraints. They should understand and they should flourish within that. So
Got it.
Why do we
Any
think this is
takes?
like a
Yeah.
kind of intervention? It's co-working. I mean, I'm
Collaboration.
not sure you can run your molecule design without backend team. Everyone who is doing everything, right? Maybe you are the face, you are doing the stuff, but there are a lot of people doing that, right? Similarly, for any feature, it can't be the designer who is the face, who is just designing the visual, who is designing the experience. There has to be backend people, and that's not intervention. I feel like this all has to be. This is an ecosystem. Everyone has to be part of that. Everyone is contributing their best. If any one of those will not contribute
Yeah.
their best, it might not pass because a single person might not be able to do this. Sometimes we start feeling that we are the one who have given the complete face. We are the one who are visible, who are the hero actors, not directors,
Yeah.
who is behind the camera. We think we are owning everything, but that's not the reality. The fact is we can sip awesome stuff for show, beautiful stuff, usable stuff that might look awesome, but we ourselves do struggle badly in terms of how does the business metrics can be chosen, primarily changed. That is very important part. If we start learning that part, then of course we can do. And the designers who have that PMing skill, that grows in different manner. And the same thing happens for the PMs these days. A PM who has a great taste of design,
Yeah.
a designer might not have to fight for design that, hey, experience is broken, because
Yeah.
PM will say, hey, this has to go tomorrow because my deadline is tomorrow, something of that sort. A designer has to fight, no, experience has to be perfect. If a PM has that taste, you might not need to fight. A PM will only tell the developer that no, this cannot go forward because this experience is broken. We need such PMs who has a great taste. We need such designers who has an awesome understanding of metrics, and both of those are very required. One cannot run without each other.
Amazing. I think that's my curiosity. Okay, when and how should designers get more into PMs? And then how and why should PMs care more about design? Because like in an organization, if you see 20 PMs, you would find a few people who are deeply, like in PM also, right, deeply careful and they care for the craft.
Yeah.
But then there are a lot of people who are just in a rush to move the quarterly metric, and they would come to you with ideas that sound extremely absurd, and you know कि यार इससे तो experience भी खराब हो सकता है, but they like कि यार ये कर देंगे ना तो ये हो जाएगा. For example, Zepto में we had this delivery fee, right, का button. अगर if you have reached the 299 rupees का MOV, minimum order value, the delivery fee should be automatically deducted. But we did not remove it by default. And there was a tick mark that you had to check off, or a button that you had to click to manually remove it, which ended up making us a lot of revenue. Definitely, right?
I would say this
It's a
on
dark
record.
pattern, right?
I stopped using Zepto because of that.
It's a
I
dark
know
pattern, right?
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a clear dark pattern, right? And I also know that it was done with some pretext कि यार मजबूरी थी and all
Correct,
that, but I personally as a designer would never justify it to me, right? I was not involved in that feature.
Correct.
It was shipped way before I joined that organization, but I had to listen to people complain कि इस तरह की चीज क्यों है, right? And my question is this only, right? कि when should PM or the growth objective cross over to something unethical, and who's gonna tell them, right? Who is gonna tell them to not do these things? Because we have seen these from almost all companies. There are a few times जब हम सब कोई ना कोई डार्क पैटर्न शिप कर देते हैं. जोमेटो स्विगी के भी टाइम थे जब डिलीवरी फी रिलेटेड डार्क पैटर्न्स चल रहे थे, राइट? बट ये क्रॉसओवर जो होता है, क्योंकि डिजाइन बना रही है, राइट? अब आपको पता है कि ये डिजाइन अनएथिकल है, डार्क पैटर्न है, बट आपको इसका डिजाइन प्रोड्यूस करना है, बट यू आर हेल्पलेस नाउ बिकॉज यू डोंट ओन द अथॉरिटी नाउ.
See, it happens because I'll tell you, designers do not own metrics. We have established this. PMs own metrics. Now, it's not that they do not know. They know, they are just too desperate. That's the answer.
Yeah. I would agree.
I think a lot of time we do build, not a lot of, but every time we do build the features that should go live, but we forget that what to remove from there. We keep adding. At the end of the year, we have 50 more features, but maybe out of those 15 have stopped working in last March only, but we never thought of removing those.
Yep.
We kept adding clutter, never thought of removing the stuff. That is one. There's a lot of, something went positive AB in last year, something no one thought about that later on, and is this even making sense now after adding 10 more features?
Yeah.
Someone need to think about this.
Yeah.
Of course, that lies to us as an experienced person. We will not be able to remove immediately, but it's our job to keep telling everyone that this is hampering the experience. Let's remove it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is something.
One of the reasons why designers do not own metric. If they also own metric, now they will also ship this.
That is
Think
why
about it.
I keep telling people of this level, right? We do learn a lot about design thinking, right? What is the first thing? Empathize, right? Why empathize with the user only? Why not empathize with the PM? Understand why he is pressurizing you. Because his boss is saying, I want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
His boss said that I want 5% plus metrics. If metrics goes down, how many designers are being cowed? Hey, metrics is down, I'll kill you. Your revenues, your bonus is not coming. Your something of that sort. Ever happens? Nowhere, I think.
Yeah.
But for PMs, this is their goal. Out of 10 goals, 5 are not achieved. This is 50% achievement. Your bonus will go this.
Correct.
There are a lot of organizations
So
of
what
that
you're
sort, right?
saying is it should be a shared metric. Not
It should be
just
shared metrics for sure, but at the same time, I'm saying very easy for designers to blame a PM that my PM is stupid, who's forcing me to do a stupid design. But try and understand why is he saying that. If he is saying that because there's a pressure from his boss, can you help him release that pressure? Can you both go and talk to the boss who could be my product head and figure out that now a PM and UX both are saying that this is not a perfect experience. Can we do something better? Why just keep blaming? Why don't be the part of crime and go solve? Talk to a product head, talk to business head, and figure out that this is hampering the problem. It's very easy to blame. Empathize and go forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I have now 2-3 more questions. And because we are at 3, so in the next 15-20 minutes, we'll wrap up. And now I have more individual questions.
Okay.
Okay. I'll start with Apurv. You hold 3 patents, right? But in India, in design, rarely people know about patents and very few people aspire for patents. I happen to have 1 patent in my previous organization. And that's why I understand the value of having IP. But what has your experience been of owning or let's say filing those patents, coming up with those ideas? And what do you think is the importance of having IP for Indian startups, design related IP?
I think one of the greatest value is that it boosts your confidence, right? You know that you have created something that nobody else has thought of or did not patent, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. For me, I think I've been lucky. Google gave me that chance to do it seamlessly. They had their own legal teams, and those patents were done in US, so it was quite seamless for me. So I did one, I liked it, then I did another. So then what we do is we start thinking from a point of view, whatever we are doing in our product, oh, this seems unique, let's try to patent it. And sometimes some things get failed, something is successful. That's how I got 2 patents with Google. And then when I came to Flipkart, similar things, right? I thought that this idea is novel, nobody else has created it. I went around the organization looking for how can we do patent. It's also a big organization, and they also helped. That patent was in India. I think what worked for me was the access of it.
Yeah.
And once you do it, once you go through that path, right, then you know how to go through that path every time. Right. So that helped. I think everybody should do this once at least, right? Maybe not a patent, maybe a defensive publication. And once you know how to reach the goal, then you can do it a lot of time. If you think about importance of having patent, definitely as a designer, it adds a lot of value to your overall personality. It boosts confidence. I think in India, patent culture is a little less.
Yeah.
We do not generally patent things. We invent a lot of things, but we do not patent. It is predominantly coming from US, but I would love to see a lot of people from Indian startups, designers patent a lot of things, and then we hold the IP of that.
Yeah. I should have asked this first, and that is, can you describe also to
What is
people
the
what is a patent and how is it different from a research paper?
And what is the example? Like, what is the Flipkart patent, for example?
Yeah.
After you explain that.
Yeah, so Flipkart, so my all 3 patents are interaction patents. So to give an example, Flipkart patent is also a carousel patent, where you understand how where you design interaction, how the carousel will work. There was one patent in Google. I can explain that. I think your audience will understand that better, because Flipkart was even more complex. Once you scroll a carousel, right, the speed of scrolling that carousel will decide how much information to show. So if you're scrolling quickly, so let's say there is a shoe carousel that if you're scrolling quickly, it will just show you Nike, Puma, Nike, Puma, Nike, Puma.
Okay.
If you're slow down, it will show you, okay, Nike ka whatever shoe, this shoe. If you even slow down, it will show you price also. The card will become larger. So
Okay.
that's the patent. That's the interaction
That's
which has been
interesting.
patented.
Kind of progressive disclosure combined with your scroll
Scrolling
speed.
speed and all.
Correct.
Interesting.
So yeah. So similarly,
And how is that
Yeah,
patent?
what is a
different from
patent?
Yeah.
What is a
so patent is any it could be a design patent, it could be an interaction patent, anything which is unique, nobody else is doing, and nobody else has patented it, right? This interaction might have come to your mind also, but you have not patented it, so I'll give it a shot. If I get it, there is no patent around it, so I'll do it. Companies like Facebook, Meta, Google, Microsoft, what these guys do is, even if they do not use that interaction patent, they will get it patent so that nobody else can use it.
Yeah.
Right? So if, let's say, Facebook wants to use something similar, tomorrow, they would have to pay Google.
Yeah. And how is it different from a research paper?
So research paper is something which is not fully unique, but there are instances where there are, it's not a research paper, defensive publication is what we call. So basically you just say, okay, this is what the concept is, but it is not patentable. So there is a defensive publication on it that this was an idea, and also it is not exactly like a patent, but it's something in middle.
So the thing is, the most important thing here is there should be an economic value to it, because if you as Google try to breach Flipkart's or Microsoft's or Amazon design patent, we will charge a lot of money. We will sue you, right, in the court, and then we'll charge a lot of money. So there should be an economic value also attached to it. That's the reason majorly Indian companies don't go for it unless they see some economic value. Or somebody breaching that patent and using those ideas in their own product or pages.
Yeah.
Another thing is the finance part of it. So as a freelancer or as a designer, if your company does not support it, it becomes harder for you, because you have to interact with lawyers, you have to pay them. Then in India also, finding a good lawyer is another challenge, right? With these companies, because they already have a legal team, so it becomes very easy. You just reach out to them. You do not have to pay anything. You just have to do a couple of meetings, understand what the patent is about, and they will take care of the rest of it.
Remember, it takes a couple of lakhs to file a patent.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has done that. He knows.
Even with the least cheapest lawyer, एंड प्लस हमने सिर्फ इंडिया में फाइल किया था, 2 साल में भी हमारा 1.5 से 2 लाख रुपए लग गया था, और हम बहुत सस्ते लॉयर हायर कर रहे थे. एंड ड्राफ्टिंग जो पैटेंट की होती है, हमने पैटेंट की ड्राफ्टिंग करने को लॉयर को दी, तो उन्होंने जो ड्राफ्ट दिया था उसमें पैटेंट कुछ का कुछ और ही बन चुका था. जो बेस इनोवेशन थी वो पूरी फंडामेंटली उन्होंने चेंज कर दी थी. समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था कि ये वो है जो हम बता रहे. तो फिर मैंने बैठ करके और इमेजेस वगैरह लगा करके, वो 80 पेज का एक डॉग था जिसमें टोटल 85 पॉइंटर्स थे, क्योंकि इंडिया में पॉइंटर बाय पॉइंटर ज्यादा डिस्क्राइब करते हैं. यूएस के पैटर्न जो है वो पैराग्राफ एंड सेक्शंस होते हैं, वो सेक्शन बाय सेक्शन डिफाइन करते हैं. यहाँ पर तो 1 पॉइंट नंबर 1 2 3 4 5 6 करके 85 पॉइंटर्स, यानी कि 85 मल्टी लाइन पैराग्राफ्स लिखे थे मैंने, और उसमें 40 के आसपास में इमेजेस लगाई थी हमने. एक बहुत बड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट हमारा. बट हाँ, सबसे सस्ता लॉयर ढूंढा, आधा हमने काम किया, फिर भी हमें 1.5 से 2 लाख रुपए लग गए थे, और 2 साल लगे हमें इसमें.
This is where AI can help. 80 points लिखने के लिए.
So there are two things to it. I have a couple of patents which I filed back in 2010-11 with HP. Right, उस टाइम नया क्लाउड प्रिंटिंग आया था, और लेफ्ट एंड राइट आई थिंक इंडिया से close to 400 to 500 patents were easily filed by one single cloud printing unit in HP. राइट, और इतना ज़्यादा इंतु में थे लोग कि इतना ज़्यादा फाइल करना शुरू किया. देन HP sounded, I mean at that time, although it's not the same company anymore, but they, after that, when they saw so many people filing patents left and right, and there is an incentive attached to every patent you file in a company, you get some couple of thousands to couple of lakhs, depends on the company you are in and the kind of patent you're filing. At that time, they put a stop to it, and then they said ki अब बहुत हुआ, ठीक है, थोड़ा स्लो
Too
डाउन,
much innovation, guys.
थोड़ा स्लो डाउन करो,
Exactly.
और अब हम उन्हीं चीजों को फाइल करेंगे जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि इसके ब्रीच होने के चांसेस ज्यादा हैं.
हाँ.
हम लेफ्ट एंड राइट किसी भी चीज को पेटेंट नहीं करेंगे. और अभी आज की
It
डेट में वही
became more
companies
like
कर
an
रही हैं.
expense, I guess, अगर इतना हो
Yeah.
रहा है.
Exactly. And the latest thing is that
Yeah.
I think when AI came into picture, there are AI systems that can churn out a couple of 100 patents in a day.
Oh.
तो उसकी वजह से अभी रिसेंट कोई बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंशियल AI वॉइस ने कहा है, किसी तो बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंशियल AI फिगर ने बोला है कि going forward there won't be any patents. It will only be trade secrets because the cost of doing a patent will be too high, and with AI in place you can churn
Yeah.
out hundreds of patents every day.
Yeah.
So no more patents, only trade secrets.
I like how you made the distinction between AI voice and AI figure. AI voice is like Yeah.
ChatGPT बोल रहा था. Amazing. My next question is from Alok. You are doing a PhD, right? Even though you are a director at a big startup, you still haven't stopped learning. I want you to give us a quick walkthrough of why PhD and how is that going?
A lot of reasons actually. I mean, one, I wanted doctor before my name. The first thing.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, that's the first thing for sure. Still in progress. It's a long journey.
Nice.
And continuing. Second, I was not privileged enough to go to IIT, NID, NIFT or something. Right? I could not go to top class colleges. I did all myself.
Nice.
And I do hear from a lot of people that you are not from top colleges. And my answer to those people are now, I do teach at those top colleges.
Wow.
Whether it's IIT Guwahati,
Nice.
IIT Bombay, NIFT, NID, I've gone to all those colleges for teaching.
Amazing.
So yeah, that is one of the reason. Studying is something that I do love, and I think because we are in such industry that we can't skip learning. This is again a degree thing, but I did everything. Like I did my PG in psychology 3-4 years back only.
Yeah, ignore.
3-4 years back only. So I have been studying and working all over. Like all 20 years I've been studying, I'm doing something. I have not stopped. So I did HFI, I did psychology PG. After that I thought of writing my book. I wrote my book as well 2 years back. It got a bestseller on Amazon as well. When that finished, then I started my doctorate. So I've been doing and kind of doing a lot of stuff to keep keep myself in the market. And also I do love that. That is also a thing. And there are a lot of few things that you do for yourself. This is something for myself.
Interesting. I have 2 copies of your book, by the way. I think दोनों signed हैं. एक इवेंट में हम जब थे जिसमें आपने लॉन्च की थी उसमें, और दूसरा कोई कोड वाले इवेंट में जब आप नहीं आए थे तो आपने कॉपीज भेजी थी, उसमें साइन है.
Yes.
है ना?
Yes.
उसमें भी वो कॉपी भी है मेरे
Yeah,
पास.
Trivandrum somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
कोई
Somewhere
कोड
Trivandrum.
त्रिवेंद्रम वाला इवेंट जो था उसमें.
I remember when you took my book, you said me you want one more copy for your sister. I remember, right?
Yeah.
You got
वही
two
उसी
signed,
कॉपी में
ना?
मैंने सिस्टर के लिए मैसेज
You
लिखवाया
got
था.
2 signed from me. I remember that.
What are you doing your PhD in? What's the topic called?
Thankfully, it's in UX and design only. And my topic, what I'm working is how do I use AI in UX? So it's a topic that I'm already working on.
Nice.
And a problem is that this field is evolving
It's
so
changing,
fast.
Yeah.
I have to figure out something that has to be relevant after 6 years as well. And things are changing in every 2 months, 3 months. So I'm still figuring out, but I've already started my research. But the topic remains same, that how can AI help UX designers? Something like
2
that.
months. I feel 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, every
That's why my topic cannot be around tool because tool will change. It has to be something around way of working, ethics, or something else.
there is a
And
lot
you
of
have an idea.
content
I got
around.
an idea, but today only I got an idea about personalization. We were talking to Puneet in the morning about this, that why don't I pick personalization, because that is not going to change. Hyper personalization, how AI can help in hyper personalization, that is something unique.
Yeah.
That is a problem that cannot be.
Yeah, I think that's what we discussed also कि
Yeah,
बहुत
we
broad
also
होगा
discussed
तो
it.
नहीं हो
नहीं
पाएगा.
हो सकता.
You have to narrow down on something that is evergreen और फिर उस पर ही, क्योंकि I think you will have to produce a lot of data also, right? Via
Exactly.
experimentation.
Yeah. We also debated almost an hour while coming from NID.
I did 2.5
event
घंटा,
that day.
2.5 घंटा.
Traffic was, it was 1 hour. 1 hour became 2.5 hours because traffic, and that 2.5 hours we discuss about how deep I can go into my topic of doctorate.
That's what Bangalore gives you, the opportunity to do your PhD in traffic.
Bangalore में traffic में PhD हो गया.
Exactly. We did that.
अरे यार.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very interesting. I want to understand from you.
Yeah.
You had a very different background before you came into consultancy. I want you to describe that background and how did you land up leading a consultancy firm inside Wipro.
So I started off one of those. I think a lot of us here are engineer turned designer. I always knew this one thing, that computers is what I want to work with. I love technology. Till date, I just call myself a geek. I have to try everything out that's there. When I joined, Accenture is the first company that I joined. When I joined them, I found that in the project that I was, Linux was the most interesting thing to me. And I started like messing around with it. I started building things in the terminal for people. And that resulted in me actually going to the US as part of this, because there were not a lot of people who did this. Someone from there just left and they're like, would you be able to do it? I'm like, yes, fine. So when I was in the US in this role, because of my interest in Linux, I was just constantly building terminal UI applications, which are called today, for people. And I used to love doing it. I used to
CLI applications.
Yeah, exactly. CLI applications. And I used to do small little things. I used to be like, okay, if you're opening a production terminal, you'll see a red cursor. If you're opening an dev terminal, you'll see a green cursor. It tells you immediately, don't run RM-RF over here, do it over here, those sort of things. And then somewhere down the line, I found that there was something called UX. I'm like, oh my God, the people do this for a living. Like that is what it is. And I was like, since then, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I started working with non-profits in the US, trying to help them out with things, participated in hackathons. There was this hackathon called Hack for Western Mass, where I met a designer. We made, like, there was a small team doing things. And while I was working, he's like, hey, are you a designer? Why don't you do that? I'm like, oh, yes. Confidence boost. So it was about 2014, 15 when I realized, okay, I am doing this. I want to do this. Let me figure out. Eventually got back to India. And 2019-ish is when I was able to, I had the choice between do a degree and start from like scratch, or figure out within the organization, can I move? Coincidentally, I had also done from MIT Sloan School a course in design thinking and all of that. And I was able to prove with that, along with everything else that I had done, to people in Accenture that I can do this. And luckily, they gave me an opportunity to join in. After I joined in, I started leading a team there, became an associate manager. And then my manager there was like, dude, you're earning way less than your counterparts. Leave, go somewhere else. Coincidentally, found an edtech startup. Again, was done by someone in Accenture who believed in me, who said, why don't you come and lead a design team here? So I started working as a head of design over there. Did that for about 2 years. And then I was like, you know what? This startup world is too fast for me. Let me get back to something that I remember. And that's how I found Design It. Again, found someone here, made my way back here. So since the beginning, because of my love for technology, because of how this space is, I wanted to keep making things. And I found my way into the UX space.
Very nice.
The reason I ask these questions is because people have very interesting journeys into design field, and people who are entering today, because there's so much design free design education available, unko lagta hai ki ek path hota tha, right? And they should know that for a lot of people who are designers today, they did not have a path. They just happened to stumble upon design.
That's true.
Amazing.
That's why I make it a point to give opportunities to people who come from non-conventional backgrounds.
But in all of this, I find your manager really interesting.
She
told you
that,
you
okay,
are getting paid less.
And you should leave.
She was. I love that I was surrounded by people like that who are like, dude.
I think ऐसा manager तो हम भी deserve करते हैं.
There are leaders who care about their people, and I also had those leaders in the past who have given me similar feedback. That you should look for a change, and this is not the company where your skills are respected.
Precisely.
Interesting. So I have the similar question with you also. Okay, how did you stumble upon design? Because I know you were also a developer initially. He was also a developer initially. What was your design journey?
So when I started, we had a team, big, very deep into research team of designers, and at that time it used to be called HFE, Human Factors Engineering, and the team was in Palo Alto in HP, right?
And which year was this?
It was 2007, 6 and 7. Yeah. So they used to do a lot of usability studies. They used to do a lot of testing on computers. They used to invite people into our studios, and then they used to do testing in Palo Alto and Singapore labs. And sometimes I used to just stumble upon the SharePoint they had created and the kind of studies they used to publish, the kind of recordings they had. And that made me interested in this field. But eventually, when iPhone came around, that was a time when everybody was talking about UI and then started with UX. And that made me get some interest in this, and eventually I moved into UX.
Amazing.
Wow.
I'll wrap this by one question and everybody will answer it one by one. And that is, it's a short and crisp answer, okay, which is for aspiring designers. What is your, like, let's just say, no BS advice for designers who want to enter design 2026 and onwards? What should they do?
The toughest question.
Yes.
छोटा सा करके बता दो, है ना? What should they do? I guess where Apoor started off, do it. Don't just speak about it or talk about it or read about it. Do it practically, whatever it is that you're interested in. That'll get you moving.
Get started.
Yes.
Right? Get started and keep on going rather than AI आ गया जॉब ले जाएगा तो ठीक है. Apoor, what would be your advice?
I would say that get away from the noise first, right? Don't just believe anything Sam Altman is saying or Elon Musk is saying. They have an incentive to say all those things. You know, there is a lot of money. There are a lot of investors. They want to signal market. Obviously, they will say AI will do this, AI will do that. They are incentivized to say that.
Yeah.
So this is first. The second thing is that ultimately what makes us designer is, as I said, right, taste and our hunger to not settle with ordinary things.
Yeah.
Right? If I see a mug, if I see a table, room, every time when you are little bit unsettled, right, this should be better. That makes you a designer. So keep that spark in. Do not just, flow away with the wave of AI. It might be hard in short term because now everybody is looking for the optimizer. But if everybody is an optimizer, everybody can be replaced quickly. So be that person who has that taste after 5 years. To start building that skill.
Amazing.
I think adding to what Abimanyu and Apoor already covered about the taste part and hunger part, that's the base for sure that you have to have for sure. Other than that, I feel like fundamentals, you have to still have a good grasp on the fundamentals. That's not changing for sure. Even if AI is here, you will need fundamentals to use AI. So you can't ignore fundamentals that I'll use AI only. So of course, fundamentals are the key for sure. Again, do try a lot of AI for sure. Figure out that how can you make yourself more efficient. Keep trying a lot of tools that's coming, whatever is coming in the markets. Keep trying everything, and that's why I say you can't learn swimming on YouTube, right? You have to jump in the water to figure out the stuff. Try multiple things, then only you'll be able to figure out that what is working for you. A lot of things that is working for me might not work for you, and you need not to panic about this. Completely fine. My workflow is different. Your could be different. Figure it out. But overall, fundamentals plus make yourself more efficient with the help of AI. Right now, this is the main thing.
Nice.
Amazing. Puneet.
I think this is something which I have always told my team, whether it's a fresher or an experienced person, it applies to me and probably to all of us, is have the right mentors, right? आज की डेट में आप ठीक है, आप इन्फ्लुएंसर हो या फिर आप एक बड़ी वॉइस हो, डिज़ाइन, इंजीनियरिंग या किसी भी चीज़ में, people keep pinging you for jobs and for this and that, and sometimes they forget. ठीक है, आप 10 भगवानों को नहीं पूछ सकते, ठीक है, आप एक ही को पूछो और अच्छे से पूछो और वही आपकी मदद करेगा. ऐसे ही you don't need to have 100 mentors. Probably find 5 mentors in the industry who have a view on things, who are interested in coaching, who have a point of view about where the industry is going. They have patience to teach you, to coach you, or to coach the masses. ठीक है, आप उन लोगों के पास नहीं आ सकते जो बेस्ट हो इंडस्ट्री में, बट दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन कोचिंग बिकॉज समटाइम्स पीपल आर दे डोंट हैव टाइम एंड समटाइम्स दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन कोचिंग और दे आर नॉट इनटू इट, right? To have the right mentors in place and be connected with them for a long time. Sometimes the mentorship goes beyond just technical skills and careers, and sometimes it enters into your personal lives also. So they become your life coaches also eventually. But have the right mentors and have patience with those mentors.
Have the right mentors, guys.
In fact, there's too much buzz about this AI thing. In fact, I want to add about that. People are worried AI से job जाएगी. Yeah, job जाएगी. क्यों नहीं जाएगी? What is giving you confidence कि job नहीं जाएगी? First of all, tell me that. But ये same thing was there. अगर अभी 8-10 साल पहले अगर मैंने फिग्मा नहीं सीखा होता, मैं फोटोशॉप पे होता, तब भी जॉब चली जाती है. Right? जब ग्राफिक्स से वेब मूव करना था, मैं रहता कोडर ड्रॉप पे, तब भी जॉब चली जाती है. तो why you are making lot of noise about this? आई थिंक अगर मैं नहीं सीखूंगा तो जॉब जाएगी, बिल्कुल जाएगी. और वो हमेशा हर चीज के लिए, एआई के बाद जो भी आएगा उसके लिए भी बिल्कुल इट वर्क्स टुगेदर. सो फिगर इट आउट. नीड नॉट टू ट्राई टू don't try to save your job.
Because you have been very active in design education, you have been involved with a lot of colleges also. Do you feel that the design colleges of today are doing justice to the way designers should be taught in terms of curriculum and daily practices as compared to what we are expecting out of them and what you are expecting out of them when you hire them?
I think the answer is not clear-cut yes or no directly, because there are a lot of design colleges these days, by the way. I mean, back then, just there were hundreds, not even 100. Now this is in thousands or maybe in lakhs. I don't know.
Wow.
It's a huge number. If you talk about the top colleges plus all the private universities, I've gone to a lot of universities for talks and panels, and I've met a lot of students, met a lot of professors. And what I conclude that there are a lot of good colleges or a lot of good design schools. They are doing great. And when I say great, they are giving them exposure of the industry at a very early phase. The students who are the first year, second year, they're already getting to meet the designers in the market, understanding from them, learning maybe a week in a year as well. That is also giving them some thing about the industry. When they will come to the market, they will not be like, oh, where I have come. So that's not happening. So that is what is helping them in terms of getting industry exposure too early, but not all. I would say 10% of the universities or 10% of the colleges are doing the same thing. Rest are still into that area that, hey, I know design well. I will teach you what to teach. And that is where the problem is. Their curriculum might have not changed for last 5 to 7 years for sure. And that's a red alarm. That's a clear-cut red alarm. And that's the bigger problem with the top-notch colleges.
Yeah.
I'll be blunt, that's just the reality is that the top-notch colleges are not changing the curriculum as quick as the lot of private and lot of super-duper active colleges. And if you're not changing the curriculum, you are giving me a designer who was relevant in 2010. And I don't know what do I do with the person.
Yeah.
So your curriculum has to change almost every year. So I tell you that if I talk about AI, how do I use AI in UX field, and I gave a talk someplace last month, if I have to give the same talk next month, I can't deliver the same talk.
Yeah,
I have to
very
change
different.
90%. You know, things are changing so drastically that I will say, "Hey, what are you talking about? This was last month. And you're talking about 5-6 years backstory. No, it's not required, of course. So we have to work on the curriculum for sure. Syllabus has to change for sure. This is not happening everywhere. Few places doing so great. I can't name anyone, but yeah, there are a lot of colleges doing so great. I love those. I love to go to those colleges where students are very active. They know about the industry. A lot of time I go to colleges, think that they are बच्चे हैं, इनको तो कुछ आता नहीं होगा खास industry के बारे में, and I was surprised with the questions they come and they talk about how PM works, how dev work, how does the collaboration work. I was like, okay, do you even know PM sitting in the college? But the reality is there are a lot of colleges, they have an idea about how does this complete system work. These are the understanding we do need about from the colleges. They should be teaching them. If all the colleges can do that, that will help us. Otherwise, we have to struggle a lot when portfolios come. We have to spend a lot of time figuring out the best person.
Yeah. I also went for a session recently to IIT Kanpur, and there were bits and pieces that the students knew in the questions they were asking. I could see that was really surprising. I was like, "तुम लोग को अभी से पता है ये सब कुछ?" There were a few other gaps because of industry exposure, but yes, there are some colleges that have done an amazing job. What is your experience, Neet, in this?
I think, yes, for many colleges, the curriculum is pretty outdated. I think the reason is either they are not able to find the right faculty to teach those subjects because things are changing really fast. AI and design is still, I don't think, still is a subject in most of the design colleges. The kind of tools which we are seeing, the kind of adoption which is growing in India. And second thing is, since the charges of design education are so high, and people do question why this much price compared to an engineering degree, which gives you a ready job, right? Design still is a very small domain in terms of the job market we have in India. So people do question, why are you changing the syllabus so much that we are not able to catch up? So these are two, I think, very basic fundamental things because of which we don't see design colleges moving as fast as how the job market is expecting them to be.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I have seen the LinkedIn pages of a lot of the professors in these colleges, and I don't see them working in a company ever for which their students are preparing for.
Yeah.
And that's my question. How can you prepare a student to do something that you have never gotten to do, right? They are very accomplished, but maybe academically, maybe research-wise, but in a corporate environment or in a startup environment, we are highly outcome and output driven, which they have not done, right? And I feel like that's why they don't know what they don't know, and then they have authority, and the curriculum that they set is what they feel is right because that would have worked for them and under their worldview. But then it becomes outdated because you have not done that hands-on work in the
But
current
I think that's also not completely wrong.
Hmm.
You need fundamentals. You need to know the basics. For that part, maybe early phase, you need to know via a professor
Yeah.
who knows things very deep. But at the same time, if you don't have any understanding of the industry, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they should not be there. They are awesome. They are important. They are very important. They should be there for sure. But either they should upgrade, or there should be other prof who are going to be helping them about the industry, about the current affairs, understanding all the growth is happening in the market. That should be there.
Yeah, it's like for a 4-year degree, maybe the last 2 years should be taught more by industry professionals via calling them as visiting faculty, so that you can increase that exposure to the industry.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
maybe
pretty
it's a conspiracy is being done on purpose. अगर बता दिया PMEM से deal करना होगा वहीं छोड़ के चले जाएंगे.
Too early to go for
I
things.
think part of college is not only to teach you skill.
Yeah.
It is the 4 years, right? It is to teach you resilience. Nobody can predict कि आप जैसे आलोक ने बोला, right? हर 2 हफ्ते में change हो रहा है what is happening. But if you are from a college done 4 years, right? All these things that happens in college, somebody will tear up your assignment. All those kind of things that happen that makes you resilient to whatever is coming, right? So they prepare you as a full-fledged person, and then they leave you to the market, and then you are ready to face any challenge that
It's a
comes,
taste
because
of the
nobody
real
can
world.
predict what the challenge is.
Yeah.
Right? This is the precise reason why you'll see a lot of IITians coming out and they are not doing anything related to the course that they have done.
Yeah.
But they are resilient enough that they are able to become a founder, a stand-up comedian, whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very important part. We have to also face, maybe not now, but very early phase of the career, we have all faced. Like, how do you handle a manager who is not agreeing with you? How do you handle a client who is hating you, who hates your design? How do you convince? You have to give your design. I mean, I have faced things during my interview as well. The interviewer just thrashed me out, go out. You are not worth interviewing. Something of that sort. But that gave me learning. That made me so strong that how prepared I have to be in the interview. So very
Think
important
about
part
it.
of life.
If somebody tears your assignment in college, right, you have the entire ecosystem which takes care of you, right? There are friends which will say, okay, it's okay, that teacher is like that only. But when you are alone in the world, somebody does that to you. If you're not resilient enough, you'll break down mentally immediately. So that is also important.
Yeah. On the point of client, I have another question, and that is, especially with you guys who have worked with international team, right? In terms of work culture, right, and also in terms of expectations from design team, what is the difference that you've seen between national and international projects or national and international clients?
There is a big contrast. I feel like the craft of design is valued a lot more outside of, I'm going to talk about India as a context. I'm sure there are other countries where it's similar, but in a lot of the Western type countries, Europe, US, there's a lot more value. And they don't want to, जिसको कहते हैं ना कि निचोड़ के वैल्यू निकालनी है, वो वाली चीज नहीं है. In especially with Indian clients, that is something that I've seen a lot, where they're like, okay, we are only going to give you this much, but we want you to keep working like around the clock, be available whenever I am. And that leads to this kind of a work environment where you're not really focused on craft, you're more focused on कि ठीक है मैं कुछ काम करके दे देता हूँ. Whereas with a lot of international clients, I have seen when you're even explaining to them, they value the things that you're saying. Even if you may not be as experienced, they know कि okay, if I've paid you money, you probably know what you're talking about. Let me listen to you, understand the whole thing, and move ahead. There are, in fact, disciplines like service design, which we have in our company, which I have seen there are a lot more service design projects from these countries, which are in the Europe, Australia, New Zealand, all of these places. Very few service design projects which are of an Indian company. There are international companies based in India who are doing it, but very few. So that value ka difference and knowing why design matters, why the craft matters.
Do international clients also push on the timelines of delivery as same as Indian people? I feel like Indian people are very pushy.
No, they do not at all. They have their own जिसको हम work life balance कहते हैं, right?
Yeah.
Their thing. The only problem is the time zone thing with international clients. Like working with people in the US, sometimes you got to work like late nights to coordinate with them, because that is one thing they don't compromise on. Like they wouldn't show up early in the morning to connect with you, because you're the person providing the service. But yeah, they don't push you in that sense.
Indian clients को थोड़ा तो
Yeah.
patience चाहिए
They
होगा.
are,
What's your experience?
I think it's less to do with India, more to do with the Asian thing. Right, it's an
That's
Asian
why
culture.
I mentioned there are other
Not just in
countries.
India.
Yeah.
I think China, Korea are also very similar, very
That's true.
hardworking, very pushy, penny pinching. That's why we have a lot of
That's the
cost-effective products coming out of Asian countries or Asian industries compared to, I mean, not most of the time in the Western world, right? So yes, it comes from right from our, I mean, childhood days, जहाँ पे parents को आपको हमेशा आपके सामने पेरेंट्स के सामने बच्चा रहना चाहिए, ठीक है. घर में केयर टेकर्स हैं, घर में मेड्स हैं, कुक्स हैं. हमारा इकोसिस्टम ही विजिबिलिटी से डेवलप हुआ है कि सब सामने होना चाहिए, सब हमें एकदम से चाहिए. तभी यहाँ पे 10-minute डिलीवरी भी है. यूएस में स्टिल इट्स नॉट देयर.
And there's the hierarchy of मैं बोलूँगा, you are serving,
एग्जैक्टली.
you should do
हाँ,
it.
कि हमारे फैमिली में भी वो हायरार्की रहती है.
Correct.
कि दादा परदादा, डैडी, मॉम, एंड देन हमारे रिश्तेदार, एंड देन सबसे नीचे हम यंगस्टर्स में आते हैं. भाइयों बहनों में भी वो हायरार्की
पानी का
होती
ग्लास
है,
लेके आओ.
ठीक है. और ये महाभारत रामायण के जमाने से है.
Yeah.
भ्राताश्री.
Yeah, which means basically when these people become clients, they also kind of project the same behavior
Exactly.
on them.
Exactly.
That's amazing, यार. बहुत ही interesting था ये. I think that's a very good way to end this conversation. I'll tell you what I learned. I think I have been juggling with a lot of thoughts regarding the PMs and founder discussions that I asked you about, and that's why I asked them for myself majorly. Okay, what is the thought that I'm juggling with, and what is the view of people who are senior to me? And personally, I've gotten a lot of value and also a lot of new perspective on this. So this has been helpful for me. Right? I hope it will be helpful for the audience also. With this, I would like to end this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I hope you also had a good time here talking with me.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.